Hello everybody and welcome back to Analog Vernacular. Today we're going to be playing some more Unicorn Overlord, and some things have changed since the last time you saw me. This was the save that we made then. This is the save that I have now. You'll notice that 3 hours have passed. I spent 3 hours setting up tactics for my entire team. Now, I did this over remote play, and, well, sometimes remote play doesn't work very well. So I was having some issues where basically my inputs wouldn't trigger half of the time, so it took me a lot longer than it probably actually should have, just because I was doing it through remote play. But just know that 3 hours have passed, and I need to go over a lot of things with you. Now, keep in mind that I'm not using build guides, and some of this stuff is probably still going to be inefficient because, well, it's not play tested. I have not tested any of these builds. But I have set up basically a whole bunch of things on people, and I've saved them into templates, so that way as we make changes to them, we can reload them if need be. So basically what I wanted to do is to have a whole bunch of templates set for each of these classes that are hopefully just in general going to be much more effective than they were before. And I'm not even joking, I had to optimize every single one of these. There were suboptimal options that were going on with every single one of our builds, as many of you probably knew already. So that is to say that, like, this stuff does make a difference, and hopefully we're going to see a major difference now that I've made these changes. So I wanted to go over this stuff and kind of like talk through my reasoning. I figured this would be the faster way to do it, is for me to do all of the work and then to more quickly go over it with all of you. So let's just go down the line, and you know what, maybe we'll do this from the unit list. From here. You know what? No, because some of the choices that I made, nah. Yeah, let's go down the character list. All right, Joseph. Probably not too many changes with him, but some of the things that you're going to notice is that I'm going to be doing a lot more of this type of thing, where passive points is a certain, level or above. Otherwise, things aren't going to happen. And hopefully the orders here make a lot of sense. So let's just go through it. So we've got Heal, restores moderate HP to an ally, target HP is less than 75%, and he will always heal the lowest HP unit. So if there isn't somebody that's below 75%, he will move on to Slice. And if there are multiple people that have less than 75%, he will always target the one that has the least amount, right? So we have Slice here, lowest HP. Attack a single enemy, grants the user +1 passive if the target is defeated, so lowest HP makes sense there. He's always going to get an extra passive if he can do that, which is going to make his guards a little bit more effective. Holy Guard activates before being hit by a physical attack. Block an enemy attack with a medium guard, prevents debuffs. Reduce damage taken by an ally by 50% for one attack, and prevents them from being afflicted. So his guards come in, but then he's also got Pursuit. Activates after an ally attacks. Follow-up attack a single enemy. But he's only going to do this if he has 2 or more PP. So in other words, if he has his max PP, he can do Pursuit, and he can attack somebody. But I wanted him to save at least one of these 2 guards for the fight itself. And we can always turn this off if we need to. Now, since these only trigger on guards, it's okay that this is last. I think that fundamentally it doesn't matter if Pursuit is up here or down here, based on the description of these effects. So that's Joseph. We've got Alain here. So he's got Cavalry Slayer, and I only want him to do this when cavalry are present. So that's what's happening there. It inflicts AP -1 and PP -1 and Guard Seal if the target is cavalry. Since that only happens if it's cavalry, I only want him to do this when there's cavalry. Otherwise, he's going to do Lean Edge, which is going to be healing him. Since they have the same physical potency, I figure since this one has a extra thing that it only does extra things when it's cavalry, and this one has a healing effect, no matter what, it's better that this one triggers more often. So this one having a tighter sort of requirement of cavalry only makes more sense in my mind. We also have Grave Impetus, which is coming from the Gravekeeper boots. Activates after an ally is defeated by an attack, grants the user +1 AP. So this one will always be on top, and basically just like if there is PP left over when somebody dies, then he will get an extra action point. Then we have Noble Guard and Luminous Cover. Activates before being hit by a physical attack. Block an enemy attack with a medium guard. Grants the user +1 PP if the user has 50% HP or less. You know what? I think I actually need an extra thing here, don't I? So, grants the user +1 PP if the user has 50% or less. So, what we want here... Let's see, Luminous Cover activates before an ally is attacked. We want that for the most part. Noble Guard. Blocks an enemy attack with a medium guard. You know, I think I decided to do this because it's on self. That's right. I think I was originally going to have this be HP minus 50, you know, less than 50%. But I believe that since this works on self as well, whereas this one only works on ally, I wanted this one to be able to trigger even if the enemy didn't have 50% HP or less. So that's why that one doesn't have any extra things. So yeah, there we go. Okay, Scarlet. You can see she's got a whole bunch of things here. So, Curing Call. Restores minor HP to a row of allies and removes all of the target's debuffs. So, right now, this may change later, but right now, this condition is only going to happen if there is a debuff. Since this one, you know, it does have a row heal, right? But since it's only a minor amount of HP that's healed, I'd rather her be using her action points for other things. So, we're going to have it only trigger when there's a debuff, and it will just happen to trigger healing the row as well. We can always change this. We can always add one more if we need to. And we could have this for, you know, we could have this basically, my bad. Where is it? Row with most combatants. Right here. I think that's the only one with the rows, right? Yes. So we could have that, and that could be just triggered on and off as needed, right? And we could also have that say HP... average percentage less than 100 or something, or less than 75. And that could, you know, help us out as well. But I think for the most part, we want that off, and I want other things to be happening instead. So, Holy Light, trigger against armored first. Holy Light, lowest magic defense if no armored are present. Protection, activates before an ally is attacked. Reduce damage taken by a row of allies and by 50% for one attack. I want this to be 2+ combatants, so I want it to be like a full row. An average HP less than 75%. Otherwise, I want Quick Heal to happen, because Quick Heal is going to be a pretty decent heal. And after an ally is hit, restores minor HP to an ally. So that's why this one has a little bit tighter of things. The protection is going to be nice in the right circumstances. But in most cases, I probably want her to be doing more massive heals if somebody's HP is less than 100. Passive Miracle activates after receiving an ally's passive skill, restores minor HP, and grants +1 PP to an ally. So that's only if somebody else gives the passive. And then we have Quick Impetus here, activates after an ally uses an active skill, allow an ally to act again, grants the target +1 AP. This is coming from the White Cat Ear Hood. This is something that we're just going to probably be triggering on and off as we want to use it. So we may move this up and down depending on the fight. So that basically if we need heals more, the heals will be triggering more often. Otherwise, if we want somebody to get another action, we can do Quick Impetus instead. Renal. Wild Rush, full column, inflicts stun. So if a full column isn't present, he will resort to Assaulting Lance, and if the target is defeated, he will get that +1 AP. This is another one that maybe in certain circumstances will pull up, because it may be more effective to get the extra AP if more people are down, but I think on average I'm going to want that stun on full columns. Fire Cure, so that will remove burn if burn is present. Then he's got Quick Guard, block an enemy attack with a medium guard. Guarding Impetus activates after guarding an attack, grants user +1 AP. So in most situations it feels like Quick Guard and Guarding Impetus are going to be the two things that are activated with our passive, unless somebody has burn, in which case he will heal burn, and then he may have another passive for a Quick Guard. Yeah? Cavalier Call I turned off on Renal. Grants cavalry allies in the user's row +20% attack. Right now, he's not in a unit that has other cavalry. Actually, I think I did move him out of Elaine's unit. So, yeah, but that's something that we can kind of like take on a per basis thing, right? Chloe here, Javelin. So Javelin has extra potency against flying units, so it'll only trigger when flying units are present. We have Long Thrust, which attacks an entire column. I wanted a full column of cavalry to be the first priority. If there isn't a full column of cavalry, then you can just do any cavalry. Or, if no cavalry is present, then a full column with lowest HP. If there is no full column, then we resort back to Javelin, prioritize back row, lowest HP. So the idea here is that like Long Thrust will be able to do a whole bunch of things here, but when all of these things aren't met, a full column isn't present, cavalry, and this lowest HP may actually screw up this full column thing, I don't know, but I'm guessing that if a full column isn't present, then that one won't trigger. So Javelin being ranged allows us to prioritize the back row, which might actually be more useful. This is one that, since it's not play tested, I don't know if on average this is what we always want, but, I did think it through, and this is what I decided on. So, then we have Keen Call, activates before an ally attacks, grants 100% critical rate for an ally's next attack. I only want this to trigger when she has 2 passive points or more. That way we always have a first aid to use at the end of battle. So that's the idea behind this, is that first aid will always be able to trigger at the end of battle. Keen Call will be able to trigger once, and then first aid at the end. Yeah? Alright, Clive. He has Assaulting Lance. This is very effective against infantry. So basically, I have this set up where infantry are going to be kind of the first priority, and lowest HP infantry based on tiers are going to be triggered. So less than 25% is going to be our first tier. So if there's any infantry with less than 25%, it'll attack them first. Then if there isn't somebody with less than that, it will be 50% instead. If no infantry with those are present, then we can go to Passive Shatter, which attacks a column of enemies with a piercing strike and inflicts -1 PP. And we're asking to find a full column, and they have to have 1 or more PP in that column. Otherwise, we can just Wild Rush, which inflicts stun. So in other words, if the -PP isn't relevant, then Wild Rush with the stun will be relevant. So then that comes in. If Wild Rush doesn't find a full column, then we just go to Assaulting Lance, that once again has the potential to give us 1 AP. Then we have Cavalier Call, that he will only do if he has 2 PP or more, which is not something that Clive can do until we either get him a Lapis Pendant or something else that gives him an extra PP or a promotion. So right now, Cavalier Call is not going to be able to be triggered on him, but in the future, that's what'll happen. Block an enemy attack with a medium guard. So most of the time he's going to be guarding here. Alright, Ochlys is up next. Alright, so with Ochlys, she has a whole bunch of ranged attacks here. So we got Spiral Sword. She's going to attack scouts with lowest HP first. Ranged, so the idea behind this is that this inflicts evasion -20. And so scouts being inflicted with -20 evasion would be useful. So, if no scouts are present, then we resort to flying, which also have high evasion. And same idea, right? Is that flying with lowest HP, we can inflict minus evasion. If no scouts or flyings are present, then we go to Shield Smite, which inflicts defense -20%, grants the user +20%, and we're just gonna do this on average to the highest physical defense. And there may be moments where we want lowest HP instead of highest defense, which we can always add later if we need to. But in general, adding this physical defense down might be incredibly useful. So, then we go into the passives. Diurnal Guard. Activates before being hit by a physical attack. Block an enemy attack with a medium guard. Grants the user +1 PP during the day. So right now you'll notice I have a Diurnal Guard at the top and the bottom. This will trigger if it's daytime because of the extra +1 PP. And then otherwise, we probably want these to trigger first, and then if we have anything extra, then we can end up doing the guard at the end again. Warcry, grants the user plus 20% physical attack, and Accelerate activates after an enemy attacks with an active skill, plus 20 initiative, plus 30 accuracy. Okay, Adel is going to be very similar to Clive, if I remember correctly. They do have different weapons, like the passive Shatter is coming from the Valkyrie's Partisan. So this one's going to be different because he has the Phantom Knight Spear, which gives him Phantom Attack. So the Assaulting Lance stuff is going to be the same, but Phantom Attack is going to trigger after if no infantry is present. Then, if he has 1 or more PP, he's going to attack the lowest magic defense unit. Oh, he's going to attack a unit with 1 or more PP. Sorry. Attack a single enemy and inflicts PP -1. So Phantom Attack. If the unit has 1 or more passive, then attack the one with the lowest magic defense that has 1 or more passive. Then we go to Wild Rush full column, Assaulting Lance lowest HP, and then Cavalier Call will trigger if he has 1 or more passives, which once again won't be able to trigger yet, but soon will once we get some promotions. Otherwise, he's going to quick guard. The idea behind this is basically that once they have 2 passive points, we want the first passive to be used for Cavalier Call, which can be turned off if they're not in a unit with other Cavalier, but if they are, then it can be useful. And then the second passive would be used for guards to protect other units. Yeah? Alright, Selvi. Once again, we can just trigger on and off Sandstorm when we want it. Otherwise, it's going to be Passive Curse, inflicts -1 passive and initiative -10 on a row of enemies. And basically, I wanted that to be triggered only on 2 or more units that have 2 or more passives. Otherwise, Offensive Curse, I think, is going to, on average, be a little bit more useful, inflicting physical attack -50 and magic attack -50. Yeah? We could change this to 1 or more passive, but for now, I think I'm going to do that. There may be instances where we want 1 or more, especially when it comes to those units who can, like, chain attack. You know, like Swordmasters or whatever, but Gladiators, I think, have something that might be useful for that. But yeah. So then she has Evade from her Thief's Mantle, evade a single hit, or Quick Curse, inflicts attack -20 for a single enemy's attack, inflicts critical seal. So this one, if she gets attacked, the evade is going to be more valuable, that's why it's on top. But since this is going to be triggered based on what happens, the order of this isn't going to matter too much, right? Alright, so Monica, our first Radiant Knight, we have Row Heal. Restores moderate HP to a row of allies. If the average HP of the row is less than 75%, then do a Row Heal with 2+ combatants. Otherwise, Fire Slash on Armored, because that can bypass. The attack itself may be physical, but the fire damage that can happen afterwards bypasses their defense. So, Fire Slash on Armored, but if that's not present, then we can do the Hash, which can grant the user +1 passive if the attack hits. We have Toughness, grants the user a buff to endure 1 lethal blow. This should only trigger if their own HP is less than 50%. Otherwise, they're probably not in a huge amount of danger. Not always the case, but that's kind of what I want. Magic Barrier activates before an ally is hit by a magic attack, negate the next magic dealt to an ally, and then Holy Guard activates before being hit by a physical attack. So if their HP isn't less than 50%, they're just going to be doing their guards. Jeremy, Killing Chain. Attack a single enemy, grants the user +1 AP if the target is defeated. So I tiered this one. Killing Chain is going to trigger if they find a unit that they can attack that's less than 25% first, 50% next. Otherwise, resort to Heavy Slash, which you'll notice has 150 instead of 100 physical potency. So if there isn't somebody that we can take advantage of the Killing Chain very easily, then we just hit them really, really hard. Then we have Following Slash, activates after an ally is hit by an attack. Counterattack a single enemy, grants the user +1 PP if the attack hits, and I chose to set lowest evasion for this. I don't know if this always will attack the person that... I don't know if this will attack the person that is the person that attacks the ally. Notice how the language is super unclear here. Activates after an ally is hit by an attack. So, an enemy hits an ally of yours. Do I only attack the person that attacked the ally, or can I just attack anybody that Jeremy can attack? Since that's unclear, I chose to add lowest evasion, being unsure whether it would be able... not knowing who it would be able to attack, that's what I chose to do. Should still work even if it only attacks the one person, right? Alright, so we got our Vanguard next, Lex. Alright, so let's look at this. We've got Shield Bash, attack a single enemy and inflict stun. And basically what I chose to do here is to basically prioritize anybody who has action points, because taking them out of commission is going to be more important. So whenever we're inflicting stun, it should be somebody who has an action point and isn't already stunned or afflicted. So the not afflicted, maybe I should just change that to stun only, but you know, that can actually happen right here. Yeah, let's just do that for now, see how that goes. That way he's not doubling up on somebody who might already be stunned, right? Warding Slash. Attack a single enemy, grants the user plus 20 physical defense, lowest HP. So if somebody isn't available for Shield Bash, he'll go to Warding Slash. This could be switched if needed. Shield Bash is only 50% physical potency, so this is more effective at damaging, but this is more effective at kind of like crowd control in a way. Taking somebody out of commission, which might on average be better. It's hard to really say, you know? And then arrow cover. If flying are present, then arrow cover is going to be priority here. Obviously there are other ranged attacks that he might be able to cover, but I think for the most part right now, I want him covering my flyers from bows. So that's what I'm doing there. Otherwise, quick guard will probably be a little bit more useful. Activates before being hit by a physical attack, block an enemy attack with a medium guard. And then Guarding Fighter activates after guarding an attack, grants user plus 20 phys, attack, and 30% critical damage. Travis was super messed up. We really need to be taking advantage of his ability to steal passive points, and for a while our Poison Slash and Toxic Throw was kind of in the way of that. So I definitely was not using Travis the best I could. Passive steal, being able to steal someone's passive points is really nice. So he will not do it against armored enemies because armored enemies are typically going to be able to guard. So basically passive steal, the conditions are one or more passive points to steal, and no armored enemies are present. If armored enemies are present, they can guard this and make our passive steal a lot less effective. So in that case, things like Toxic Throw or Poison Slash is probably going to be better. Toxic Throw right now I have, it's only 25 physical potency. So in general, it's going to be good for poisoning a specific person, but otherwise not very useful. So since it's ranged, it's going to be more effective against backliners and probably casters. So I decided to make it caster only. Otherwise, Poison Slash is probably going to be on average more useful because it has better physical potency and also poisons just like Toxic does. So Toxic Throw for casters and Poison Slash for armored first, anybody else after. Then we've got Counter and Evade. Counter, you can counterattack a single enemy. Evade a single hit. And if he's able to, passively steal things, then, or, use passive steal to get more passive points, then he'll be able to evade or counter even more. Sorry guys, I'm having to talk a lot today, and I'm actually really stuffed up. Allergies are getting to me. I apologize. So we have Rolf here. He's got dual shot, 70% potency, but it attacks 2 enemies. So this is going to prioritize flying first, and there needs to be 2 or more enemies present. If there aren't 2 or more enemies present, resort to Flame Arrow, where you prioritize armored first and lowest HP second. Eagle Eye. Activates before attacking with an active skill, makes the user's next attack a true strike. This is what allows us to hit those flying units who evade a lot. Scout enemies are present or flying enemies are present, we're going to use Eagle Eye. Otherwise, don't use Eagle Eye, you're going to use Pursuit instead. Follow-up attack a single enemy, activates after an ally attacks. Yana here, she's going to start with Ice Bolt as her first action, and she's going to go after the person that has the most AP. So Ice Bolt can freeze somebody, So that takes away actions away from people. I believe we're gonna have to watch this, but I think I don't know if freeze makes them use an action point when they come out of it, or if it just allows us to stop them for a while so that we can beat on them, right? We're gonna have to keep an eye on that, but right now I have it set as first action, so it'll freeze somebody, and it will go after the person with the most AP, which is generally gonna be the person that can do the most damage. Not always the case, but a lot of times gonna be the case. After that, Magic Missile attacks 2 enemies with magic, prioritize armored, and 2 or more enemies have to be present. Otherwise, we resort back to Ice Bolt, where you can prioritize armored or whoever else, if no armored is present. We have Focus Sight, makes an ally's next attack a true strike. Once again, if enemies are high evasion, like scouts or flying, that's when we're going to use Focus Sight. Otherwise, Magic Unfurl is what I want to be used, and it should only be used on somebody that has an AP point, which I don't think actually matters here, because it just activates before an ally's physical attack, so this is redundant, and probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I feel like that is redundant and doesn't matter. But I don't think it gets in the way of anything, so... Alright, Berenice, our sellsword. I feel like sellswords, gladiators... Are you a gladiator? No, you're a sellsword as well. Gladiator, I don't know what a gladiator is. So sellswords and swordsmen or whatever, the one that like Leah and Melisandre are, I feel like I haven't learned how to use them yet, and hopefully these builds will help us get better at that. So I think hers is basically the exact same as Jeremy's. Almost exactly the same. Looks like I added lowest physical defense for heavy slash. Maybe I should add that to his too. Alright, we can just load it. Cool. Alright, so yeah, Berenice is going to be exactly the same as Jeremy is. Aramis. Our sword fighter. Alright, so at the top we have Impale, which I don't think every Swordmaster has. I think 2 of our 3 have it? I can't remember. I remember one of them not having Impale, and I was like, oh, interesting. Impale. Attack a single enemy, grants the user +1 passive if the target is defeated. So target HP is less than 50%. We may want to readdress that. There could be times where we want less than 75%, but we'll see. I should add lowest HP on this as well. So if there's multiple, it'll always go for whichever has the lowest that's below 50%. Alright, so yeah, let's do that. We're gonna... Yeah, we have multiples here. Yeah, save to that one. There we go. Alright, Keen Edge. Attack a single enemy with a critical strike. That on any scouts, because it's a true strike attack. Impale is not, so if there isn't somebody that's easily killed here, then Keen Edge is going to be consistently useful with the true strike and the extra crit rate, same with flying. And then Keen Edge on highest evasion because of the true strike. Then we have Hasten Strike, attack a single enemy with a first strike. Once again, flying or scouts first. Otherwise, parry I think is going to be more useful on average. Especially since it also gives you +1 AP. So if flying or scouts aren't here, then Hasten Strike isn't needed, right? And then we have multiple parries, hopefully. Especially once you're promoted, right? Right now, if a flying or scout is present, then Hasten Strike happens, and then we have no parries left to give us more actions. But once we're promoted, we could do a Hasten Strike, and we could do a parry, and get an extra action, right? So, like, you can see how that's going to snowball once the promotions come in. Okay, Rosalind. So, Primus Edge. Attack a single enemy if the user is at 100% HP, grants the user +1 passive and +1 summoned fairies. I still don't really know what summoned fairies is or what it does. I'm assuming we're going to learn more about that once we go back to the elf area, Elfheim or whatever it's called. But obviously, target HP needs to be 100 or more in order for us to do that. And if you read the thing here, target only combatants with 100% or more HP. So this is actually, you know, greater than or equal to, even though the symbol doesn't have the line underneath it, this is a greater or equal to 100%. So if somebody has 100%, they can get attacked and we can get more passive points. Otherwise, use Freezing Thrust on the person with the most AP. And I prioritized Elven because you notice that we have a plus 25 potency if the user has summoned fairies, which I'm assuming is an only Elven thing. So the prioritize Elven might help there. Then we have Curing Heal. Target HP has to be less than 100%, and you can prioritize Debuffed because it removes debuffs. Alright, Virginia. Vertical Edge. Attack a single enemy. It ignores 50% defense and plus 50 potency versus flying targets. So Vertical Edge is going to be against flying only, and the reason for that is because even though both of these have the same physical potency, this one's only useful against flying, this one is useful against armored, but it's also unguardable. So this is the one that should be, unless there's flying present, Iron Crusher is probably going to be the most useful. Now, if flying and armored people or people that guard can jump into a fight, we just move this up, right? And then we'll be more effective again. But right here, Iron Crusher, prioritize armored, but otherwise, this is just going to be better overall because of the unguardable trait. Royal Guard activates before being hit by a physical attack, block an enemy with a medium guard, and user recovers 25% HP. So if own HP is low, then use Royal Guard. Otherwise, you're going to be using Maiden's Hammer on lowest percentage HP. Activates after an enemy attacks with an active skill, counterattack a single enemy. Potency increases the less HP the user has. So, lowest percentage HP, I put that there as that thing so that we can maximize the potency there. Once again, this is one of those things where it doesn't say if you have to attack the enemy that made the attack or if you just get to attack after they attack. So this may not matter, but we'll see. And then if none of that stuff applies, then Royal Guard is still useful, so. And if you have extra passive left over, which you can see she has 3 of right now. Bran. High swing against cavalry first. It has plus 50 potency versus cavalry. Otherwise, go after the row with the most combatants. Then we have Feathering. Activates before attacking with an active skill. Grants allies in the user's row plus 15 initiative. And then Wing Rest, own HP is less than 100%. I actually think that I want this. It won't be able to trigger until we rank her up, but in general, Wing Rest, well, that's the thing, is that I think that's why I didn't do this to begin with, because Fran, if she's in a back line, she's not always going to get hit, so Wing Rest may be wasted if... Yeah, that's a tough one. You know what? We're going to leave it as is. I made that decision for a reason. Yeah, okay. Alright. Liza. Another character that I haven't used that much and should probably learn how to use better. This setup should help with that. She's got Shadow Arrow from this Starless Bow. So we start with that one. Attack a single enemy and inflicts blindness. Prioritize flying, and they have to not be blinded already. It's ranged, physical potency is 100. Then Toxic Bolt. So let's say that most of the time, a lot of this stuff isn't going to be used. This is one of those things where this one is going to be switched a lot, right? Depending on what I need. If I need to blind more, then we leave this one on top. If I want to poison people, maybe there's armored units that I want poison to be more useful, we might move that up. Power Bolt has 120 physical potency, whereas these are not that high. So if we just want raw damage, we put that on top, right? This one was really hard to kit out in a way that can just be automatic. We're gonna have to do some switching for this character. So yep, they have to not be blinded, not poisoned, prioritize flying in all cases. Power Bolt if you just want raw damage. Then we have Poison Cure coming from the Detoxifying Amulet. Only use if PP is 2 or more. Quick Reload, only use if PP is 2 or more. Follow-up attack single enemy, otherwise Medical Aid is probably the one that we want the most. So, activates at the end of battle, restores 15% HP to a row of allies, healing doubles if the target's HP is 50% or less. So, lowest percentage HP, and it has to have at least 2 or more combatants in that row. Otherwise, we can just heal the row that has a person in it with the lowest HP. I did percentage on this one because I wanted the percentage of the rows taken into account. If you had 2 in both rows, for instance, then go with the lowest percentage HP row, right? So that's why I chose to do it that way. All right, Hilda. She's got a Sanguine attack from her Crimson Sarissa. Attack a single enemy, recover HP equal to 50% of damage dealt. She's only going to use this when she is below 75% HP. Otherwise, she's going to result to Diving Thrust against Cavalry, and the lowest HP Cavalry. Otherwise, just lowest HP is fine. I could have one above that's like Cavalry only. If Cavalry are present, go after them, right? Or this, right? And that might happen sometimes, but I think in general, if she's hurt, I want her to heal herself with her attack. But there may be times where we want her to go after Cavalry instead, so that one will be a case-by-case basis. She's got a ground counter, activates after an enemy attacks with an active skill. Counterattack a single enemy, plus 100% potency versus Cavalry targets. So, condition. I'm assuming that means that if a Cavalry attacks her. You know what, let's see, actually, because I think that there's actually a different way. That's what I need. Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, that doesn't seem right. So if attacked by Cavalry, this will trigger. I'm glad I caught that. Okay. Alright, Deflect. Activates before being hit by a melee attack, negate melee damage for a single hit. Grants user plus 20 evasion. Then we have Wing Rest, own HP is less than 100% if there is any left over. Sometimes if, these happen, then it's not gonna work as much, right? Now that I wonder if I want Deflect on attacked by Cavalry too. Hold on. Counterattack. I think I'd want this first, actually. So attacked by Cavalry. That should be the top priority. Ground counter if attacked by Cavalry, if you have one after doing the Deflect. And then we can just have a standard Deflect underneath that. Yeah, let's do that. No, on this one? No, that doesn't matter. But I do want ground counter to be top priority there. Okay. Alright, cool. Save that. And like I said, once we test some of these out, we might find that these are really not as good as I want them to be, but just through, theorizing and whatnot, I think that these are going to, on average, be better. Okay. Linalgos, the Elven Archer. Wind Arrow, which has physical and magic potency. Attack a single enemy and inflicts evasion minus 50. So prioritizing flying with the highest evasion. I guess it's prioritized flying with highest evasion or just in general highest evasion. That's how that would be read. Then we have Magic Barrier that will be triggered whenever magic is used. So negates magic, aerial shift, activates after an ally is attacked with an active skill, buff a row of allies, grants plus 20 attack, plus 40% critical to flying allies. We're gonna prioritize flying here. I guess that doesn't matter. You're only attacking you're only getting attacked at one row or the other. So if it happens, it happens. Okay, we'll think about that one some more in the future. But quick cure, remove all debuffs from an ally, grants the target immunity to one debuff. And selfless heal, average HP is less than 100%, restores minor HP to all allies, removes all debuffs. That's one that we could move up if we had to. That one, like this one, I feel like could use some work. I just don't know how to use Linalgos yet, so we'll have to fill that one out. Ridiel? Same class, but you can see that she doesn't have some of the same abilities. So, Wind Arrow's the same, then we have Quick Guard, block an enemy attack with a medium guard, which I'm guessing is coming from the defensive gauntlets. Is that what's happening? Yeah, okay. Then we have Quick Cure, remove all debuffs for an ally, grants the target the immunity to debuff, and Selfless Heal. Audric. Lightning Shaker, attacks a row of enemies and inflicts stun. A row with 2+ combatants is required. Otherwise, resort to Sting. Attack a single enemy plus 50 potency if the user is below 50%. So basically, if there's 2+ combatants, stun them. Otherwise, go ahead and go after somebody that has less than 50% HP so that you can get that extra potency to 150. Otherwise, Lightning Shaker on lowest HP row of enemies is going to be probably the most useful. This Sting is redundant. It's only redundant. I had to add it here because if we don't have 2 AP at that point, if we use this Sting, once we hit this one, we can't use another one if we only have 2 action points. So I put another Sting to go after lowest HP. So that's why that's there. Guardian. Grant the user plus 20% physical attack with 20% guard rate, effect stacks, and heavy cover, prioritize back row. Cover an ally with a heavy guard. So this one's a reaction. This one, let's see. Yeah, activates after being hit. And this one will activate. Yeah, I guess prioritize back row doesn't really matter here when you really think about it. So, but like I said, if it doesn't get in the way, it doesn't matter. All right, Albin. He gets crushed from his crushing axe. Let's see. So, attacks a single enemy and inflicts stun. This I'm using on armored. It's unguardable, so it'll be really good against armored units. If there are no armored units that we want to stun like that, then we use Rolling Axe on a row with 2+ combatants, and it inflicts physical defense minus 15. And if there aren't a row with 2+ combatants that he can hit, then he will use Smash instead, because of the potency and hit rate. Attack a single enemy, inflicts physical defense minus 20, and because of that physical defense down, I want them to hit the highest physical defense they can hit. Alright. Frenzied Strike. Counterattack a single enemy, inflicts physical defense minus 15, and then Parting Blow activates at the end of battle, so if he has anything extra, then he attacks a single enemy with the lowest HP. Hopefully getting a kill right as we leave. So, Sharon. She's got heal. Moderate HP to an ally. Target has to be less than 100%, and targets the lowest HP that needs, basically the person who needs it the most. Lifesaver. Activates before being attacked. Heal self for minor HP recovery. Grant user a buff to endure 1 lethal blow. So if she gets attacked when she's below 50% HP, which we may want to be closer to 75, we'll see, but 50 I think makes sense for now, then she'll trigger this, hopefully saving her own life. Quick Barrier. Activates before an ally is attacked. Reduce damage taken by an ally. This she's only going to trigger if she has 2 or more passives, and her own action points are 1 or more. The reason for this is because if we have, like, I can't remember exactly why I did this. It made sense in my head though. Is that, okay, so Quick Barrier, reduce damage taken by an ally. And then if she has an action point left, she can heal them afterwards. I think that was the idea, because some of these other ones are going to be more useful, so I made this one a little bit tighter. Quick Heal, restore minor HP to an ally, remove all debuffs from a row of allies. So, there we go. All right, Melisandre. We've seen a sword fighter already, but she has a couple of extra ones. So Impale, once again, if target HP is less than 50%, so they can get the extra passive. These are exactly the same. Keen Edge, target the people who can dodge better first because of the True Strike. Keen Edge, highest evasion because of True Strike. And then she had Banishing Pursuit and Arteni Strike, which the other one didn't. I remove Hasten Strike from her because I think it's similar to Arteni Strike, but worse. Target HP is less than 50%, attack a single enemy with a first strike, grants the user +2 passive if the target is defeated. So, this activates at the start of the battle, and I want her to save her passive points if there isn't somebody who's easily killed. So, if there is no target below 50% when we start a battle, Arteni Strike will be ignored. And then we can use Banishing Pursuit and parry instead, right? So Banishing Pursuit, only on somebody who's buffed, removes all targets' buffs, and does a follow-up attack. Does this have to be... Yeah, okay, yes, this is correct. And then if we don't use that, to follow up, then we parry. We keep our parries instead, which can give us more action points. All right, cool. I think this is basically the same. Arrow cover and quick guard. Yeah, I think it's basically the same as what we saw with what's his name, Lex? Yeah, Lex had some extra things. He has that guarding fighter at the end. But otherwise, this should be the same. All right, Magellan, another sellsword. His is exactly the same as what we've already seen, so I'll just scroll through that in case you want to just refresh yourself. Then we have Tatiana, which I think is going to be very similar to what we've already seen. Heal the person who needs it the most. Lifesaver works exactly the same way. Refresh and quick heal if target HP is less than 100%. So if somebody gets debuffed, then they get debuffed, and maybe that means we don't get a quick heal in, but that's okay. Really depends on which of these happens first. Both are valuable, so. Bruno. He has a Sanguine Axe, so he has a Sanguine attack, recover HP equal to 50% of damage dealt. This should only be if his own HP is less than 75. Otherwise, I think we want Wide Smash. Yeah, that's how that's supposed to be. Okay, Wide Smash, lowest HP. Plus 50 potency if the user is at 100%. Maybe I didn't set you up properly. Let's see. So... So there we go. So first priority is a Wide Smash, target HP is 100 to take advantage of the extra potency. Otherwise, just hit the row with the lowest average HP, or just with somebody that has the lowest HP. Let's just do lowest HP. Which, since he can't bypass lines, shouldn't matter all that much, really, when we consider it. Okay, so there we go. So, 100% HP or more is going to be our first priority. Otherwise, just go after the weakest. Okay, wide counter. Activates after an enemy attacks with an active skill. Counter attack a row of enemies. Otherwise, use bulk up. So, let's see, what was my idea here? So basically, if he's not hurt very much, he can use wide counter. Otherwise, he should be using bulk up. I think that was the idea. I might do that instead. I want bulk up to generally be what triggers the most. So, activates only when the user has 75% or more HP. So if it's lower than 75%, then he's never going to use wide counter. That way he has the bulk up that he can use. Yeah, okay. Oh, maybe that's why, because it recovers 40% HP. So it's like, it heals quite a lot. That's why I did it. Okay. So yeah, the 50% makes sense because, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. 75% is a little safer, but we're gonna keep it. Okay, I did that for a reason. All right, cool. Prim, she has Parting Resurrection and Poison Cure, which is different. Otherwise, everything is going to be very, very similar here. After Lifesaver, we put Poison Cure. If somebody's poisoned, they'll get healed. And at the very end, if she has a passive point available, she can do Parting Resurrection, which revives one ally, restoring them to 1 HP. I think a lot of the time she won't end up having that extra passive point, but we can always move this up before starting a fight where we need somebody to be revived. Yeah, so that was the idea behind that. Miriam, we've seen one Radiant Knight already, but they didn't have Sorcerer's Connection, which is coming from the Familiar's Choker. So that row heal thing, we've got Hash, which grants passive if it hits, so lowest evasion is good so that we can maximize the passive points. Then we have Sorcerer's Connection, that activates before an ally uses a magic attack, grants an ally 50% magic attack, and grants the user minus 50% magic attack. She's not using magic attack, so this is great for her. Well, I guess this is magic potency, but since it's not an attack, I don't think it matters. Maybe it does. Maybe it would actually reduce the potency of her heals, I don't know, but Sorcerer's Connection, if she's in a group with a mage, she can power them up. But she's only going to do that if she has the extra PP, which she doesn't have right now, not being promoted. So she'll resort to Magic Barrier and Holy Guard. So that probably won't come into play yet, but if we promote her, then she can start supporting. So, Alk. Fireball, prioritize Armored, inflicts burn, Magic Barrier, blocks magic attacks, Magic Pursuit, activates after an ally uses a magic attack, follow-up attack a single enemy. I only want this if he has extra passives. Otherwise, if he hasn't done his barriers, then he will use Fire Burst on somebody who's burning. That activates at the end of the battle. If nobody is burning and he has an extra passive point, then he can just do this on the lowest HP unit in hopes of killing them. But if somebody's burning, he should always do Fire Burst on that person. Mordin. Heavy Smash on Armored, it ignores 100% defense and it's unguardable. If there are no Armored, then he goes to Assaulting Blow, which grants the user +1 action if the target is defeated. We're targeting 25% or less first, then 50. And then if there isn't somebody who can, hopefully be killed by Assaulting Blow, then Icy Blow is going to be used on the person that has the most AP, freezing them in their tracks. Binding Guard, armored enemies present. User's next attack will inflict Guard Seal. So he won't use this unless armored enemies are present. But if they are, then he can inflict Unguardable, or the Guard Seal thing. Quick Action. Grants an ally +15 initiative for their next action, cannot target self. So if somebody who's guarding isn't present, then Quick Action can... basically what this is doing is like, if there are armored, use this. If there aren't armored, use this. And go after the lowest initiative. Grants an ally +15 initiative for their next action. Okay. Berengaria, did I set her up? I think I ignored hers because she wasn't with us, so we'll look at hers later. When we unabduct her. Alright. So, our Dark Knight, Vengeful Axe. Attack a single enemy. Damage increases the less HP the user has. So, Vengeful Axe is going to be used if his HP is 50% or lower. That way he can take advantage of the bonuses. Otherwise, he can use Venom Axe and inflict poison. Vengeance grants the user +20% attack and +20% defense, and it stacks, and grants them 1 passive if the user is at 50% HP or less. So, since that extra PP thing is there, if it should be first priority if we can take advantage of getting the extra passive point. Otherwise, he can do Sanguine Arts. If his HP is less than 75, user will recover HP equal to 50% of the damage dealt on the next attack, and then Vengeance at the end if none of those are triggerable. Yeah? Okay. We're almost there. Nina, I think she's very much the same, except she doesn't have quick action. So, Nina, she has Pursuit instead. So her stuff here is basically the same, right? Kinda. So Assaulting Blow, target HP is 50%, lowest HP. Assaulting Blow. Yeah, okay, so Heavy Smash against Armored, otherwise just use Assaulting Blow and prioritize people you can kill. Armored enemies present, use Binding Guard, otherwise use Pursuit. That's basically what this is saying. Leah? Not much is different for her. She'll use Hastened if flying are present. And yeah, and parries. Keisha doesn't have anything extra, so she just has the Binding Guard, and everything else is exactly the same. We could set, like, lowest HP here, I think, but it doesn't matter. For now. Alright. So, that was a lot. That was a lot. But I felt like that was necessary. Hopefully, this means that we can go and be more effective on these missions, yeah? Part of the reason I was ineffective during this mission is because I was ignoring the item they were trying to tutorialize here as well. The first time, I was just trying to do it my way without, using the items. I thought maybe just bypassing with flyers would work. It didn't. Then the second time I tried, I was trying some other theory out, and I was definitely frustrated, but basically I'm just at the point where I need to just get good, right? So that's kind of what this was about, was setting up so that my units overall are hopefully going to be a little bit stronger than they were before, and more effective in more situations. The other thing that we need to do is a round of shopping. I've taken notes of where a whole bunch of different things are. So I'm going to be buying a whole bunch of stuff here as well. And yeah, I'm going to make this an extra long episode. That way all of this housekeeping stuff is in this one episode, so that we don't have two housekeeping episodes. So we've spent an hour just discussing my new builds. That's wild. But it needed to be done, and I wanted to make sure to share with you what changed. Some of you will probably skip this episode, which is totally fine, but there are others of you who really, really wanted to see this, so that's why I left it in there. I think that there was some stuff here. Let's see, Barbatimo, there were several things here that seemed semi-useful. So if we go to the armor...
You're in the right place.
Like the Lapis Pendant.
Done and done.
What else did I like here? The Azure Crest Shield, base PP +1.
Done and done.
Active Heal on Lyrical Wand. Restores moderate HP to an ally and grants the target +1 AP. God, that's good. It does cost 2, but that is really good.
Done and done. Be seeing ya.
Okay. Let's see, where is Nordplog Town? I don't remember if this is one of the ones I want, but... there we go.
If it's steel you're after, you're in the right place.
So let's see, this has Active Shatter, AP -1. I don't think that's the highest on my priority list. Let's skip that one for now. The Walled City of Akut has a Lapis Pendant we could pick up. Let's see, those ones are usually at the bottom. I think there was some stuff at Adopt Die too.
If it's steel you're after, you're in the right place. Done and done.
I looked at this one and kind of liked it too. Healing Hunter, base PP +1, magic defense +3, attack a single enemy, ignores 30% of the target's defense. And it activates after an enemy uses healing magic. I don't think I'm going to buy this one right now, but I'm going to leave it on my list.
Be seen.
Okay.
You won't find finer weapons in all
A
of
Carnelian
Drakenhold.
and a Lapis, and I think I like the Wyvern Rain too. Aerial Wing, initiative. Activates before attacking with an active skill, makes a user's next attack a true strike. So grants the user plus 20% attack if the user is at 100% HP.
Much obliged.
Alright, there was also, let's see, somewhere.
Be
Wing
waiting.
Clipper Great Shield, West Side Town. Or Vesvite. Is that what it is? Vesvite? Vesite. I think that one was over here. Where's that one? Yeah, right there. On this map with the flyers, this one
You
here
won't find finer weapons in all of Drakenhold.
blocks an enemy attack with a medium guard, becomes a heavy guard, and grants the user plus 1 PP if the enemy is flying. So getting that extra passive point, this might be one that we can put on Hodrick whenever we're having trouble with flying units, for
Much
instance.
obliged. Be
Let's see, Acrobat Shoes, where is that? Preshvari? I remember that one sounding very good. So let's see if we can find that. Preshvari.
If it's steel
Let's
you're
see.
after, you're in the right place.
Grants a user plus 1 AP and minus 50% attack. So, I mean, the minus 50% attack, yes, but the extra actions could be very, very good. So you spend one of your passives to basically get a half damage action. Like, that could even be used on like a healer to get them another decent action point heal.
Done and done.
There's a number of different ways you could use that
seeing
pretty
ya.
well, I feel like. Okay. So let's see. Blessed Round Shield in Pierre Town? What was that one? Maybe I meant Mier Town and spelt it wrong.
You won't find
Yep, I did.
finer weapons in all of Drakenhold.
Guard Efficiency heals 10% HP when using an active skill. Just seemed like a pretty good one.
Much obliged. Be
Balmarata had a Lapis Pendant as well, so that one's not where I'm at. Right here.
You won't find finer weapons in all of Drakenhold. Much obliged. Be waiting.
Okay. So we had so much money and we haven't been using it all that much, but there's all these items that are going to be really, really useful. So, yeah, just wanted to get some of that stuff. Now I'm going to double check my list a little bit here and, ooh, hold on. Helmian Town? Right here. Number of things here that sound good.
You
I
won't
can't remember.
Find finer weapons
Double
in all
heal.
of Drakenhold.
Restores minor HP to 2 allies. What else is on my list here? The Ironcrad Buckler and the Squire Shield. Why did I like this one? Because of Wall? A buff that negates 1 physical attack, yeah. And then the Squire Shield gives quick cover. Cover an ally with a medium guard.
Much obliged.
Okay. Cavalry Hunter's Buckler.
Be
and a
waiting.
thundering bow at Gannerfeld Town. Let's go there.
You won't find finer weapons in all of Drakenhold.
So this is kind of like, yeah, so if we run into cavalry, then they can use this. Extra passive if the enemy is cavalry. Inflicts physical attack minus 40. It's like a debuffing bow.
Much obliged.
Okay.
Be wait.
All right. That might be good for now. Labouche Hamlet. I'm gonna go and check that place real quick. Nope, not you.
If it's steel you're after, you're in the right
The
place.
Thawing Scepter. Guard Hunter. Is this the one? No. I think there was one scepter that only worked on Selvi. Let's see. Guard Hunter. Attack a single enemy with magic, ignores 30% of the target's defense.
Done and done.
Okay.
Be seeing.
I had a whole bunch of other things at Barbatomo. Let's go back to Barbatomo, because some of them are kind of cheap. That should be right there.
If it's steel you're after, you're in the right place.
Yeah, with some of these things, like Blue Spectacle for just some accuracy, gauntlets, guard rate. What else did I have on the list? An Azure Crest Shield. We got that, right? Yeah. Got the Lapis.
Done and done.
Okay.
Be seeing ya.
Okay, Thrust Harbor. Ooh, where is that? Thulust. I must have once again spelt it wrong in my haste.
If it's steel you're after, you're in the right place.
Warrior's Medallion was the one I was looking at. Physical attack percentage, and critical rate.
Done and done.
Okay.
Be seeing.
I don't remember what the Dancer's Bracelet did, but it's only 2,000, so let's go and check it out. Sudtown.
If it's steel you're after, you're in the right place.
Powerful Call. Grants 30% physical attack for an ally's next attack.
Done and
Okay,
done.
we're down to 40,000 gold. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna stop there. We had 200,000 a minute ago. Now we're down to 40,000.
Be
So,
seeing.
yeah, we just spent a lot of money, but we have a lot of really good items now. We have a lot more action points, passive points, etc. that we can start working with. I'm off screen in between episodes, probably going to decide who to give those items to. And for the rest of this episode, what we're probably going to do is get some more promotions. So one of the things that we've been doing passively is collecting materials in this area. Now at each one of these locations, I can go and do more deliveries and get more honors. So we're probably going to do that. So let's see. Yeah, we have a ton of cornet lumber. We don't have a ton of honeyed apples. We have quite a few quartzite stones. So we can get a whole bunch more honors here, and we can get some more promotions. Now, I don't know if none of this stuff is shared between regions, but a lot of this stuff is not shared between regions. Some of these give more than others, obviously. So let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8 total here. Like, that's usually pretty good. Right now we just have this one to do, so let's do that, see what pops up next. This is a great way for you to continue collecting honors, and we can get some more promotions in the bag. So, yeah. We'll just go ahead and do that, why not? I think some of this scrap metal is shared between other regions, so I may not go too hard on some of these, but... Oh, that's okay. That's what I get for mashing. But hey, there's a place where you can get some more apples. Remember when I was trying to get apples for the longest time? Alright. Sure. Why not? 60 plus of some of those, so... I don't want to lose too much iron ore in case that's used in another area as well. But yeah, like every single one of these places we can go and check these on, so it's like, yeah, we don't want to churn in a whole bunch of apples here necessarily, so... And we can just keep going. Alright, I'm gonna quickly go and see if some of these like scrap metals and like meager timber, I want to see if some of those are showing up in this area too. Yeah, so far they're all different. We don't want to deliver stuff here because we haven't finished this area yet, so I'm going to keep all of my stuff from this area. Okay, different lumber here as well, but scrap metal is shared. Okay. So scrap metal and probably ores, I would bet. Yeah, scrap metal. The stones seem to be different. Let's see if ores show up anywhere. We're just gonna double check this, but let's not use the scrap metal anymore. See, meager timber does share, okay. So it seems like meager timber is kind of just a basic type of lumber, so let's not use meager timber, the scrap metal. Haven't seen the iron ore or whatever it was. We just saw copper, but... So maybe the ores are area specific as well. Okay, so maybe the ores are safe, but meager timber and scrap metal definitely are shared. Alright. I feel confident in continuing then.
Be seeing.
I still suspect iron ore and stuff might be needed for other things, so I'm still nervous about that one. I'm gonna be a little bit stingy on those. See, I did do you, didn't I? Timber seems like the type of thing that would be shared, so we'll ignore that one for now. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to check. I remember taking this ship, and we took the one that took us back to the other island, but I think there was a third one that maybe we didn't try, that I wanted to double check at some point. So now might be a good time to do that as well. Yes, so we went to this one, correct? That's right, we can't get to that. Okay, I must have recently taken those people off of this one, because nothing is here to collect. Alright, this is the one that I'm not sure if we ever boarded the ship on. Now our map is getting close to 50%, so if this is a place I haven't visited here. We might be able to hit 50% here, depending on... Yeah, I haven't been here. Hallowed Corn Ash, thank you. Nice. Didn't hit 50%. Didn't even move the needle, really. Okay, so with that done, we need some promotions. All right. I think I'm gonna promote Fran. I'm gonna promote Clive.
Higher still.
I'll not let this go to waste.
Nice, dude. Kinda, no, probably like one of our cell swords or sword masters. I can do 2 more 30s. Melisandre. Now it's either like a cell sword or maybe a Radiant Knight.
The pride of House Maillet.
Oh, she's 35, okay. All right. Berenice. Cool, they get a shield now too?
Nothing's stopping me now.
Nothing is stopping you now. Okay. Well, that's all we're gonna be able to do. All right, so I'm gonna have to do some major setup. Equipment out the wazoo. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that off screen. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for those of you who stuck around for this one. I know that this was just a lot of housekeeping, but this is part of what this game is. That housekeeping needs to be done sometimes, so here we are. Bye, everybody.
I'd like to give a very special shout out to my patron supporters: Darren York, ZTD, Knife Namaste, Kyle the Monarch, Chris Murphy, JW, Quinless, Vlado101, Andy Ford, Bruce Wizzle, Black Mamba 90, Eureka Gecko, A Happy Fat Panda, Turkeyfoot 27, Pedo Kuto, Shadow Raven, Hannah Kate the Great, The Blue Electric Cat, Emily Kuzanoa, Philip Dougherty, Timothy Jansen, Skip, and Nadia N. If you would also like to join this tier or any others, check out my memberships or my Patreon in the description down below.